All right, thanks everyone for joining us today. We have an update with GoldQuest. With me today, I have Luis Santana, who's President and CEO, and Leandro, Sastre, who is VP Exploration. As many of you know, this presentation will contain forward-looking statements. If you'd like to know more about those, you can find them on the company's presentation on the website. And we will have a Q&A section, so feel free to enter any questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Before we get started, as many of you have probably noticed, the company did issue or announce a financing this morning. So we are not able to discuss anything to do with the financing. Not my rules, those are the lawyers' rules, but we got to stick with them. So feel free to ask questions about drilling, about the company, about anything else, but we can't reference the financing. With that all out of the way, I'd like to introduce Luis and Leandro.
Hello, hello guys. Very nice to have the opportunity to talk to you, and looking forward to our conversation this afternoon.
Hi everyone, how are you today?
So Luis, I'm just going to pull up the presentation. Let me know which slides you want me to go to.
Yeah, let's just begin. I mean, since we started with our kind of telling our story to the market, we started just recently in September of this year in Beaver Creek. We are very happy that to inform you, all of you, that our story, the process that we have undertaken in the past 3 years is finally delivering results, and we are very excited for the road ahead of us. This afternoon, I'm just gonna have some slides, I mean, to give you some background on what we are, what are we doing with regards to Romero, and then the final part with Leandro, we are going to be discussing with regards to our plans in order for us to not only develop the Romero gold mine, but also to continue to explore the district scale land possessions that we have with the potential to deliver additional discoveries in San Juan. So if we can begin, the first page, obviously, the next one is we need to ask you, all of you, to go to our webpage and have a look and read through our forward-looking statement. So please, I encourage you, all of you, to do that. Next one, Deborah. So this slide is just a summary of a slide, like a nutshell of what we have right now. We have a gold mine that we discovered in 2012. The Romero Gold Mine Project. We did a PFS study in 2015 and 16 that delivered good economics, more than $200 million of NPV, an internal rate of return of 28%, and a payback of 2.5 years. So it was a good project at that time, and with all the indications for us to continue to develop it. We not only have the Romero discovery, but we also have control of a 50-kilometer extension of land with exploration concessions and permits that are highly prospective, in which we are going to be drilling in a greenfield area around 5,000 meters. We were planning to start in November, and now we are starting this week in December. Currently, we are well financed and we are very well supported by the community engagement that we've done in the country in San Juan specifically, and very well supported by the investment community in the Dominican Republic. As you all know, we have completed 2 successful private placements in the past, in November 2024, and then again in July 2025, and we have a third one that is in the works. So that's a strong signal to all of you that what we've been developing in the Dominican Republic in the past couple of years not only have the local support, but also have the support from the investment community in the Dominican Republic. As you know as well, we have an important support and endorsement from Pinko Eagle, from an investment they did with us in 2017, and that they continue to hold with us. I mean, currently it's around 11% of our common shares. As we speak right now, at the end of November, we had in the bank 23 million. from the previous placement that we did in July and in November last year. Currently, we are in the process to develop our environmental and social impact assessment that we started in July. We are also developing our bankable feasibility study that we started in August. Both things are progressing well. So we are advancing our permitting stage. We have been staffing, recruiting not only for the development of Romero, but also to provide the resources that Leandro needed in order for him to be able to support our plans on the exploration for our concessions. And this week, actually, we are going to be starting drilling in the new areas, in a new greenfield area in Cachimbo for the first time since we last stopped in 2018. So marking like a turning point on our history going forward. Next one, please, Deborah. So Dominican Republic, where I am currently based, and from where I am from, all our mineral concessions, mineral explorations are in the province of San Juan, that is in the northwest. Dominican Republic is a good country to do business with. I mean, we're very open, a very strong democracy for more than 60 years. And a country with a very stable economy that has been growing in the past 30 years in a sustainable manner. Many people doesn't know, and I like to brag about it. We are the 7th largest economy in Latin America, despite of being one of the smallest countries that exists. So that speaks volume on the way that our economy and our country is being managed for our authorities. Obviously, besides our touristical industry, we do have mining industry. We have mining history. We have one of the largest gold mining operations of the world, that is the Pueblo Viejo gold mine. But also we have an historical mine from Falconbridge, currently Glencore, the Falcondo ferro-nickel mine. So there is precedent of mining in the Dominican Republic. Obviously, our operation is going to be unique because it's going to be the first one that is going to be 100% underground mining, and that is something that actually it works in our favor. So we are in a good place to do business, good jurisdiction, and that mining has been developed in a very successful manner in the past. Next, please, Deborah. The management team that is led by myself, we have Paul Robertson, our CFO in Vancouver. Felix is our country manager, and Leandro, that is with me in the call, is our vice president of exploration. So people with experience in the Dominican Republic, but also internationally, bringing all that expertise and experience into our project, our company. Our board of directors, very senior and seasoned professionals, that is led by Frank Ballin, our chairman. We have a good mix between Canada, Switzerland, and Dominican Republic, with Charles Reed being the latest member of our board. He came to our company as part of the investment rights agreement that we signed with one of our local partners. And it has been a wonderful addition to the team. Next. Our capital structure, the point that I normally emphasize is the pie chart in the brown and green slices that reflects the Dominican shareholder participation of our company. Formally, as part of our private placement, we were able to add around $23 million from then in the past. That was equivalent to around like 15% of our shares, 15.5%. But since then, they've been growing, acquiring additional shares in the open market to a point in which at the end of November, beginning of December, the total Dominican participation, according to Bloomberg, is of around 36%. So that speaks volumes of the support that our company enjoys in the Dominican Republic, and it should be a good sign, for current investors and potential investors thinking on investing in our company. Also, the participation of ACNICO, that is being with us for many years, and important institutions that are from Switzerland. We have two, SSI and Conwave, and from America, from United States, we have Equinox Partners with almost 9% of our shares. Insiders, we own 7%, and retail, directly, open to the market is around 30% of our shares. The evolution of our evaluation is been trending at the right path, and just a reflection on how the market is actually understanding our story and from where we're coming, and obviously where we're going to with the development of Romero and new potential discoveries. Next one, please, Deborah. Well, the Romero deposit is an underground type of mineralization. Our geology is PMS type of deposit, volcanic massive sulfides, very high grade copper and gold mineralization. We have overall around 20 million tons, of which 7 million tons has been classified as reserves, with a head grade of around 5 grams per ton, and sustaining a processing facility of 2,800 tons per day, equivalent to 1 million tons per annum. The mining plan considers large stopes of 20 by 20 by 50. And obviously, we have a lot of optionality to expand the mineral resource, to expand the mineral reserves. This is based on 2016 mine plan with gold prices at $1,300 and copper at $250. So this mine, even though it was economic, we are pretty confident that the new bankable feasibility study is going to give us a stronger economics than the one that we had in the past. Next one. Now, those are the official numbers from the PFS, totally out of date, but it's the official information that we have. And as I said, we are very confident that the update that is being done right now is going to return a lot better economics than the one that we currently have. And there is a picture over there of the LTP 94. That is an historical hole that actually we're flagging there an intercept from the 158 to 160 with 288 grams per ton, but that hole had an intersect of around 231 meters with an average of 10 grams per ton of gold equivalent ounces, which is just amazing results. Next. So when I joined the company, I was working with Cardinal Nandini in the construction of the Nandini gold mine in West Africa, in Ghana, and I was offered the opportunity to join Romero. One of the first things that I did was to review the technical study and understand what we were intending to build in the Dominican Republic, to determine if I would actually add my name and my work into this company. And this is something that when I read through it, I understood obviously something that I fully agree with, and that I felt very confident that we could actually be able to transmit to the community. This is a project that from day one, the company took a very responsible, very friendly approach into using the natural resources that we have on those mountains, but in a responsible and sustainable manner, taking consideration the minimum impact to the environment, and also, as you will see later, the maximum benefit to our communities, and obviously returning a good return to our investors as well, which is key, in order for us to be able to have a project. So we are talking about a very small footprint of operation in the area. It's an area that is sensible because it's sitting upstream from a water reservoir. So we need to take that setting in consideration for whatever we're building over there. We plan on returning the majority of our waste to the underground as a cement paste in order for us to be able to dispose of our tails but at the same time be able to sustain a safe mining operation. From day one, we consider not to use cyanide or cyanide leaching processing. We prefer just to take advantage of the copper and produce a copper concentrate that is highly sellable, and that reduces obviously the capex, reduces the footprint, and also reduces the potential environmental liabilities going forward for the company. Something that we identified was the competition for the water resource in the area. San Juan, the province where the project is located, is a very poor province. It's very underdeveloped, and it's highly reliant, highly dependent on agricultural activities, but in a subsistent manner. I mean, it's very unproductive. It's very expensive because of the lack of formal financing. They need to go to loan sharks, to get loans for them to be able to plant the crops. And environmentally speaking, it has a big impact. So competition for the water is something that we took into consideration, and we developed an alternative that is already been proven in other mines that was built in the Dominican Republic, in which we just harvest the rainfall on the area of the plant. We divert it to a water reservoir that is going to be built that has capacity to store the water for the dry season in that area that is of around 4 months. That is also something very, very important that it has resonated very well with the community. Also, our tailings, the 35% that is going to be left on surface, is going to be left as a dry stack that is going to be covered with topsoil, and it's going to be revegetated as the life of the mine progresses, and then return to the environment with a minimum impact in the topography and in the area. So a very, very responsible approach into the environment. Now, that obviously this is not enough. In order for us to be able to build trust and to gain the support from the community, we need to do a step further. And that comes in the next slide, in which we took these points, explained it to the community, but also we were able to engage with them and try to make some common ground with them, in which they identify the company as their partners, as somebody that is going to come to add value to the livelihoods. If you can come to the next one, Deborah. So we communicated all these topics and the benefits that the mine is going to bring to the communities with regards to direct jobs that is going to be opening in San Juan, almost 1,000 jobs of direct, almost 3,000 in total, indirect jobs opportunity. And these are high-paid jobs, and training opportunity and development opportunity, infrastructure that is going to be built in that area as a consequence of this mine. But also, we were able to identify other projects that were actually something that San Juan were like demanding, like the ecotourism development plan that we put together and that we've been supporting economically to development. We already planted around 70,000 trees in the area where the mine is going to be developed, but also we are currently working in a reforestation or a catchment management plan that the idea is to be able to produce a technical document that is going to be part of our environmental impact assessment with the current assessment of the catchment, of the crops and the communities and the soils and vegetation, everything, put all that together and then propose a way in which we can reconvert the current substandard cropping practices that we have for ones that are more profitable and more sustainable to the environment as well. And that is something that the company is going to be supporting during our life of mine in order for us to be able to deliver a positive environmental impact on that area from day one, even before we start operating that area. And the third one is something that we did on the water reservoir of Sabaneta, that we had two competing fishermen associations. Again, very poor with scarce resources. Just living out of fishing tilapias with cords in that area that they barely get by. We joined with them. We formed a cooperative with them, and we brought more people from the community. We joined around 124 families. We put the economical investment, the technical expertise, and we built some facilities in the water reservoir, some floating cages in which we are now, with the community, we are cropping tilapia fishes in that area. We had already produced three different crops every 4 to 5 months. And the idea is to reinvest and to continue to grow that cooperative in something that is sustainable over time, that transcends, the life of our project. In the environmental and regulatory compliance, as I said before, we're working in environmental impact assessment, and it's going to be fully in line with the terms of reference that we receive from the government, but it's going to be it's going to exceed those terms of reference because we're using also international standard in order for us to base those studies. And we are working with an international company that is doing that work for us, which is ACON. Next, please. That slide describes the formal process flow for permitting a mine in the Dominican Republic, and it kind of describe, the catch-22 situation that we had in the past. If you see the first deliverables, exploration concession, which we had, this is the great timeline. Then the second one was a pre-feasibility that we did in 2016. And then the third step in the past was to receive an exploitation concession. But that was requested by the environmental authority even before we developed the environmental impact assessment. The problem that we had was that the authorities, the president of the Dominican Republic, obviously didn't feel comfortable, and he didn't agree that in the country committing to a 75 years concession without previously determining the potential impacts of any project and how you were going to be able to manage that or mitigate it. So together with our work and with the lobbies that we did, we were able to change the situation to the new one, the green line, that now, after the pre-feasibility, it goes to environmental impact assessment. And after the successful completion of the impact assessment, then we have access to the environmental license. And with the environmental license, obviously, you will have all the technical requirements needed in order for us to receive the exploitation concession and then go into the construction of the mine, which is more in line with international practices in the country. Since we did that, there is a second company in the Dominican Republic that is following our process, and they have already started in the process as well. Next, Deborah, please. The time frame that we're working under is that we plan to complete the environmental and social impact assessment by middle of next year, of 2026. The bankable feasibility study is going to be is committed for June or July. We have some risks in there that could delay the project to be completed, the bankable feasibility study that could be completed by July. And with those two deliverables, then we expect to have the environmental license and then the exploitation license by the end of 2026, by Q4 of 2026, having then a fully permitted mine that we can take to construction during the Q1 of 2027. And this project is going to take 18 to 20 months to be put into operation. So we are aiming to be in production by the end of 2028. Next, Deborah, please. So this table is in our presentation. This is the mineral resource estimate and the mineral reserve estimate. As I mentioned, we have 7 million tons in reserves with almost 5 grams per ton and 1.1 million ounces of gold equivalent as part of our research that was evaluated in the previous resource modeling that we did in 2016. We are very confident that with the new estimation that is underway, we are going to be able to announce a bigger resource base, and obviously a larger mineral content and a larger life of mine as well. How long, how much the impact is going to be, we don't know yet. We need to do the engineering, but based on the inputs that we have, on the cost escalation, metal pricing, and the mineralization that we've seen the deposit, we are fairly confident that at the end, that mix is going to produce a larger reserves and a larger life of mine for our project. Next. So I had only spoken with regards to Romero and the development of the Romero project, the permitting phase, the bankable feasibility study, and how we are making ourselves ready to be in condition to undertake the construction during the Q1 of 2027. But I'm now going to pass it along to Leandro, that is going to take us through the potential that we have to extend the current deposit, the Romero deposit, with some targets that he has in the area, but also the potential additional discoveries in other concessions. Leandro.
Thanks, Luis. Let's go to the next one, Deborah, please. Okay, so in geological terms, we are located in a belt, in a copper gold belt that is called the Tireo belt. That's located just in the middle of the island between Haiti and the Dominican Republic, with the northwest trend, like you can see on the map. This belt is known for having a few mineralized deposits that extends, like I mentioned, from Haiti up to our Romero project in the Dominican Republic. It includes the Candelones resource as well, which is a project operated by a junior company called Unigold. And we are aware that in the past, a few projects have been explored in Haiti, like the Grand Bois, the Mene mine. And overall, we have accounted for more than 5 million ounces in the district. We are sure that it's much more than that, but the reported information account for about 5 million ounces. And there are a lot of unknown or unreported deposits as well. Our concession itself is located in a very prospective area of this belt, just in the middle. And like Luis mentioned before, the predominant mineralization in this belt has been considered as VMS, volcanogenic massive sulfides. But there are also some other deposits, other styles of deposits associated. We ourselves in the Romero deposit have a presence of epithermal events that are also participating in the mineralization there. Near the Candelones area, there are a few porphyry deposits that have been drilled and described recently. And there are some indications of other styles like orogenic deposits that must not be ruled off, although it's not our focus at this stage. So in the next one, we are zooming in to our concessions, and this basically is showing the types of concessions that we have. In green, we have the mining concession, which is the Romero ground, and in the rest of the area, we have exploration concessions that includes from the Cachimbo project down to the south east up to the northwest is about 40 to 50 kilometers long properties that we have there. We've been doing work to classify our projects in terms of the understanding that we have and the development of these projects. And we have been presented this updated resource triangle in the latest press releases and corporate presentations as well, with the intention to show the potential that we still have in the district to discover more Romero-style deposits. And in the top part of this triangle, we are showing the Romero deposit and the Romero South deposits, areas where we already have reserves or resources. But in the bottom, we have an important amount of identified targets, which are targets that we know are there. We have done some work, early stage work like mapping or surface sampling, that kind of stuff. We have several projects there. And then we have some follow-up targets where we have 10 targets right now, which are projects that has more information, have more information, like for example, some drilling or some geophysics, but we don't really understand the size of the deposit. And then we have right now one advanced target, which is Cachimbo. We're going to be talking about that in the following slides as well, where we have more drilling. We know that we have potential to deliver a resource with more drilling. And the strategy of working with this triangle is trying to move upwards the project that we have in identified and follow-up categories, and potentially discard the projects that are not of value, and hopefully identify more targets in order to keep populating our resource triangle. So we've been talking about the geological model, and this is a BMS style of deposit. What does that mean? Where we are sitting right now, with the understanding that we have about Romero. So in Romero, we've seen a lot of features that are showing that we are basically in the core part of the system, even in the upper part of the system as well. We have copper gold mineralization. We have a surrounding area with a lot of pyrite. This pyrite can have gold associated with it. If we are moving outwards, it doesn't really have gold, but in the center of the system, it does have gold. There is an adrilytic alteration associated with that. So we are saying that we are just between in the middle of the system with potential to grow at depth as well. We haven't really found yet energite or some of the other minerals that could show us that we are actually in the roots of the system. So that in Romero itself open up possibilities at depth. In Cachimbo, which is the other project that we have in an advanced stage, we are interpreting that we are in the upper zone of the system, because this part of this project is more rich in zinc. For example, it's more zinc gold, which much less copper associated. That potentially could show an increase of the ratio between copper and zinc at depth, generating more possibilities of finding a significant deposit there as well. So in general terms, this is the model that we are using for exploration programs at Romero and in general in the Tereo Belt. Geology, I'm going to be very brief here. It's not my intention to go into much details or much technical details. The idea here is to show you guys that we have our properties and that we have prospective units outcropping in our properties. In this case, the most prospective unit are the ones illustrated in green, in light green in the map, which is basically the Peralta Formation, which is part of and the Apertura Formation as well. That sequence is the most favorable, and that's where we have Romero South, but also Cachimbo to the south. We also have seen and mapped and identified intrusive units, which is this green, this yellow part in the map here, that are often very associated with high-grade mineralization, not only at the Tereo Belt, but also in other BMS deposits around the world. This kind of acidic intrusives or domes are associated, geographically associated with the high-grade BMS deposits. So we have that ingredient as well. And in terms of the structural geology, this is something that we've been working on earlier this year as well. To better understand that, we have two major faults that are constraining the way that the outcrops are located in our properties. One of the south is located, one of the big faults is to the south, the other one is to the north, and our package covers basically most of what we consider the most prospective area. There is a more complicated history in terms of the formation, etc., but I don't want to bore you with details. It is important for us to understand that. I just wanted to mention that we are working with that. Next one, Mike. Next one, Deborah, please. Okay, so Romero itself, I mentioned before, and Luis mentioned before, we are right now working to update our mineral resource models. We have been working on this geological model there as well, and we have engaged SRK to do this work. In addition to the metallurgical drilling that we've already completed, we completed 5 holes inside the already identified resource in Romero. All of these holes were successful in the sense that we hit mineralization where the model predicted that. So we are very confident that the results are going to be positive. We are expecting the first results by the end of probably January, early February, depending on the lab. And the second batch is being sent as we speak. During this week, we're going to be sending the second batch, completing the 5 first holes. And in addition to that, these holes are also going to be used to strengthen our geotechnical model, which is going to be very important to plan the mine, the underground mine there. And we are right now drilling 2 holes, aiming to the critical infrastructure of the mine, like the decline or ramps. And once we complete that, we plan to carry out an extension drilling in our Romero resource, because we've seen that it's open at depth and along plunge, so we're going to be doing that once we complete the geotechnical holes that have been discussed with the consultant companies that are carrying on.
Just one. So Leandro, sorry to interrupt. I mean, just one point here. I mean, because we've been asked, I mean, many times. We started drilling during the first week of September. We started with 1 rig, then we moved to 2 rigs, and now we have 2 rigs drilling in that area, September, October, November, and we haven't still submitted the information from the exploration. And the reason is because, I mean, this drilling is being done with the main purpose to sustain the bankable feasibility study that we're doing. So it's to recuperate, to get samples for metallurgical lab testing and geotechnical testing as well. And we don't control those results. I mean, we don't control the operation. We're doing it, but we are working with our consultants, with SRK and Sastre. So we depend on them. For them to come to the country, they look at the course, they select it, and then once they are happy with it, then we're able to submit it to the lab. And the first batch of the drills that we did in September, October, just left the country this week. I think it's either today or tomorrow that is leaving. And the second batch of the last 2 holes are being selected by them as we speak this week. They sent a metallurgist that is going up to the mine with our guys to select the course that they want, in order for us to be able then to pack it and ship it and send it over. So that's the reason why we haven't been able to issue the results of that drilling so far. But I mean, we're getting there. Just wanted to give you that background. Sorry, Leo.
No, that's fine. Thank you for the clarification, Luis. I think it's important. The next one, please, Deborah. Oh, so yeah, okay. So this is part of the last. Not the last right now, but one of the news releases where we informed the progress. You can see there a couple of pictures showing what we see in the core, and in the map to the right, you can see where these holes are located. Like I mentioned before, we actually hit mineralization where we expected that, so it's always good to confirm the model. Even though we don't have grades, we can see the mineralization there. And the uppermost to the left picture, the picture A, is showing a multiple alteration plus mineralization event with silicification, chalcopyrite as well. As you can see, in very important presence of sulfurs. Sulfite, sorry, number B, picture B, is again showing multiple hydrothermal events that are all imprinting each other, including silicification, basically strong silicification with some argillic as well, with pyrite and chalcopyrite. And picture C, as you can see, is much more massive with a lot of chalcopyrite and pyrite, and also darker sulfites in the matrix. which confirms the model as well, of course. And picture D, it's more predominant in quartz, more, if you want to say, more epithermal, but also with significant presence of sulfides, again, chalcopyrite and quartz. So that's also very, very prospective in terms of grades. Like it was mentioned before, we are expecting to deliver results by hopefully end of January, early February to 2026, and we will be informing those results as soon as we get them. In addition to the Romero deposit itself, we have identified in the surrounding area targets that can deliver value in the short term. And there is an area between the Romero reserves and the Romero South resources that we call the gap target. It's been drilled in the past, and the drilling has identified grade, for example, 5 grams per ton in one of the holes, and more than that. But the drilling has not been consistent, and the grade has not been consistent. What we've done there is put everything that we have available, including geophysics and the structural information, the new structural information that we gathered. We've done a new 3D magnetic inversion model that is showing us very clearly the pattern of the general trend of the mineralization, which is northwest. We've included all the IP information that we have, and also the drilling and the geological model that we've done there. And we are using machine learning tools to help us programming this drilling. This AI tool, not actually AI, is machine learning. Takes all the data that we have and try to generate correlation between the different data, and it gave us a probability of finding grades. So, of course, we are using that tool with our knowledge of the geology to assist us with a better drill program at the gap target, which is going to be the last to be drilled, because we want to complete the drilling at Romero first, the geotechnical program first, then the expansion of Romero, and then once we finish that, probably late January as well, we will be drilling the gap target. It's important because it's located where our infrastructure is going to be, is located very close to the reserves of Romero. And if we are successful in finding grades, but more importantly, continuity, because we know the grades are there, and if we can deliver a resource there, it's going to have a quick impact on the project. That's why we are drilling in that target. Yeah, now we can go to the next one, Deborah, please. And yeah, so that's basically what I was talking about. This is a 3D view, and it's showing the Romero reserves associated with the anomaly, the magnetometry, magnetic anomaly that is shown in the upper part of the image. We have Romero South at the bottom, and then we have the target with a very similar pattern that is a repetition of the Romero reserve to the south. So that kind of repetitions are very common in this structural setting. And we have a very, for me, it's a significant target that we want to test on the gap area. I think that we've mostly discussed about it. The only thing that I would like to add is that in addition to the metallurgical holes and the geotechnical holes, there is also a comprehensive hydrogeological drilling program ongoing, with 2 holes that have already been completed, and these 2 additional drillings that are in progress. So this map is a much more comprehensive map showing the whole area between Romero and Romero South and the different targets, the different programs that we have, which holes have been completed and which ones are in progress.
Yeah, and this point I mean to mention that we have 6 machines working in that area. We have 3 in the hydrogeological drilling operations, and then we have another 3 in the geomet and now geotechnical drilling. So we are fully resourced, I mean, to accelerate this phase of the project. Yes.
Yeah, so and in addition to what Luis just mentioned, we also intend to drill other targets. The first one is going to be Cachimbo. We are already mobilizing the drill rig to the site. We have the engines already on site. We will be moving the rest of the machinery these few days. We are expecting that the drill will start by the end of this week or during the weekend. We know that we've been saying that we will be starting to drill Cachimbo. We had delays related to the contractor. Basically, they were finalizing a campaign for a different company that extended more than it should have been. So we had an impact on the delay. Because of that, we apologize to all of you, but finally we do have the rig on site now. So it's not gonna take more time than I mentioned before. In terms of the target itself, like I mentioned before, it's been drilling and with significant results. I mentioned also as well that it's more zinc rich in comparison to Romero. You can see the grades in the highlights there in the slide. I'm not gonna read those, but the important thing is that we are interpreting this as being in the upper part of the system. It's open at depth because there are several holes that are hitting mineralization, and it's open along the plunge. So we will be drilling in that sense in order to make this grow. And our idea is once we finish the campaign, once we have all the results, and if we are successful, of course, in the strategy, we are aiming to deliver a first or an initial resource in this target. So the next one is zoom out. Cachimbo is in the lower part of the image, and what this slide is showing is that we actually have a very significant corridor that extends for over 7.5 kilometers with northwest trend, which is the general trend of the mineralization, where we have identified several anomalies that altogether represents a significant target. We have anomalies in rock chips, in trenches, in soil samples as well, which is outlined here with this red line. We have anomalies in geophysics, in IP here. We have anomalies, or we have identified the favorable patterns in the ground mag that we have there as well. We've recently done this work during this year, trenching work that is also highlighting the value of these targets. So overall, we have, like I said before, more than 7.5 kilometers. We have, in addition to Cachimbo, two other targets that we want to drill there, Cañada la Vaca and Los Ganchos, which will be drilled once we complete the drilling on Cachimbo. So we will be moving northwest along the trend during the rest of the season. Yeah. So, yeah, basically, the strategy is to deliver value to our investors. We know for a fact that the BMS systems are very often system that repeats the mineralization that we need to find. This is challenging, but we know that it's very unlikely that Romero is alone there. It's very much likely that we have the Romeros along the northwest trend that I've been talking about, and our goal is to deliver value there. So yeah, first drilling, we've been drilling for the first time in 7 years, and we're going to be drilling Cachimbo. We're going to be using all the information like we have, geology, structural geology, geophysics, and we're going to be doing more geophysics as well in order to refine our targeting and in order to deliver more value to our investors and hopefully make another significant discovery in the belt.
And that's it. I mean, basically, we have a clear strategy. We have the local support. We have the investment community support in the Dominican Republic and international as well. We have a very good cash position. We have our concessions, our permits. We have the funding. The team is being put together, and now we have 2 contractors engaged and machines. I mean, we have 6 rigs already working in Romero, and the first one that is going in Cachimbo now. and there's going to be a second coming in January. That's the commitment. So we are in an extremely good position in order for us to be able to deliver a value to our shareholders. So without further ado, that's the update that we wanted to share with you. And now, if there is any questions, I'm more than happy to take them. Or we are more than happy to take them.
I don't see any audience questions right now, so I'll remind audience members that they can go ahead and submit questions if they like. I'll start with a couple of my own, if you don't mind, Luis.
Yeah, sure.
So regarding the drill plan for the gap zone, I noticed that two historic holes were drilled in this area were both stopped because of drill bit damage at the 450-meter depth. They were stopped in faulted breccia with very good mineralization. What's the strategy to drill below this fault, and has the recent geophysics and mapping work provided you with the solution?
That one has your name.
Yeah, sure. Well, as you know, I was not part of the team during that drilling, but I've been talking to the geologists that were on project at that time. They said that the holes were not finished because of this, but rather the capability of the drill to drill below that depth, considering that we are working with portable rigs. But to answer that question, we have a strategy that includes bringing a larger rig, still portable, but larger. Actually, the one that is starting to drill soon has the capability to drill to 600 meters with NQ diameter, and we can even reduce further if needed. So that's first part of the strategy. And the second one is that we've been historically drilling holes that are not necessarily perpendicular to the general trend of the mineralization. So we're going to be taking care of that as well. We're going to be drilling perpendicular to that northwest trend that we have identified in the whole district, is present everywhere, including the gap, and that is going to lead us to a more suitable drill plan for that target. Not necessarily extending deeper than 500 meters. It's not necessarily that. It's just identifying better where the anomaly is located, what the trend on the anomaly. So I think that basically covers that. And the other part of the question, Deborah, can you please remind me that?
No, it's the fracture, the fault line at the 450 level. So what you said, it takes care of that already.
Yeah, I've got a couple more questions. So how many holes will be drilled in the 3 targets of Romero Down, Dip, Gap Zone, and Cachimbo, and related targets? And do you have proposed depths in each area planned?
Yes. So in the extension, we have about 5 holes. It will depend on results, and if we are successful. We don't have a constraint there. It's just we're going to be talking to Luis about priorities. But initially, we have 5 holes. The depths varies because we will be drilling along planche and at depth as well. The deeper hole that we have, the deepest hole that we have, is going to be about 550, maybe 600 meters with the new rig that I just mentioned. And preliminarily in the gap, we have 2 holes, both around 455. The actual target is around 400 meters depth, but we want to extend that to make sure that we pass through the mineralized zone. So if we are successful with those 2 holes at the gap, it's likely that we're going to continue because we have the budget and we have the intention to deliver value. But first, we need to test the concept.
Sorry, Luis, go ahead.
No, in Cachimbo, what is the planning in Cachimbo with the drilling of that target?
In Cachimbo, we also have 5 rigs. 5 holes. Sorry, these holes are shorter, at least in the first stage, ranging between 200 and 350 meters. So again, it will depend on the success of the holes to prove the concepts. If we are successful there, I'm sure we're going to be talking to Luis about extending the program. But initially, we have 5 holes.
Okay. And are all 6 drills turning as we speak?
Sorry,
There are 5. I mean, we have 3 of hydrogeology, and from the 3 of geotech, there are 2 operating, and the third one is being commissioned, is being put into operation, which is the new one that they brought to the site. This is a brand new machine that just arrived to the country during the first days of December. We expect to have that rig in operation by the end of this week.
Okay. And can you clarify how many rigs are at Cachimbo currently and how many you're expecting to add in January?
Just one now is being mobilized and it's going to be put into operation. And then there is a promise for the second one in January. That one is coming from Panama. The contractor is drilling for another mining company in the country. He has 4 in the country, but they were fully booked, fully committed to this other company. So he's going to bring a 5th one for us exclusively.
And when would you expect results from that region?
The results, drilling is starting today. We should be able to be announcing results by February, God willing.
Okay. And then when would you expect to start drilling at Romero Gap Zone?
Leandro?
That will largely depend on the progress on the expansion program that we have. Considering that we still need to complete the geotechnical drilling, I think that we will be starting there end of January or something like that. Will depend on the progress of the other targets. Preliminarily, it's going to be around that date.
Okay, and then I had a question from yesterday that I just want to revisit. I guess the gist of it is drilling of Cachimbo got pushed out a little bit. Can you explain why there was a delay?
No, it's what Leandro already explained. It had to do with the contractor. We made a commitment with them. After we were planning for September, but he was committed with another company. He overcommitted. When he was going to mobilize his rig, he was stopped and put into another area, and we needed to wait for the guy to finalize the operation. We just couldn't. We are in an island, and there are so many rigs and people that are capable of doing the work. So we needed to wait, for them to become available to begin the programs with us. They finally did at the end of November, and since then, he's been mobilizing in the past couple of weeks, to site to begin. That was the issues that we were confronting that were totally out of our control.
Got it. A few audience questions here. So what % of your money is being spent on Romero development versus other exploration activities? How far will that take you? And we know you're doing a feasibility study, so maybe just an update on how that's going.
So overall, we have a commitment for a budget, for 2026 of around $16 million. And of that, the vast majority is committed to the development of Romero and the exploration of Romero. For Cachimbo and the greenfield projects, we have committed around $5 million of that 11. So it will be 2/3 Romero, 1/3 Cachimbo and the greenfield targets.
Do you see any risk related to government change or elections in the country that could affect the permitting approval process?
Yeah, unlikely. We feel very comfortable and very confident with the current government, the current authorities, and even more so with the ones to come. The elections in this country is going to be in 2028. We are still far away from that. And by that time, we expect to be well advanced in the construction of Romero, potentially almost commissioning it, and with potential additional discovery in Cachimbo. So we don't see any political risk at this stage for our project.
Okay, and then so with the money that you have, why would you consider increasing the drill program? Or maybe that's going to be like a phase 2?
Yeah, so I need to now, Deborah, to make a final stop because I have to go to another meeting. And with that, I mean, the use of the money that we are raising, the main justification for them is to continue to support the development of Romero. We are seriously committed to build this mine in the DR. And between the end of the bankable feasibility study and beginning of the construction of the project, we want to expedite that process. I mean, we want to fast track it. And in order for us to do that, we need to make project commitments, I mean, earlier than normally you would. So the idea is for us to start making those commitments. I mean, like, for example, land acquisition for Romero, and also long lead items commitment as well. For Romero, with that cash that we're raising, it's going to put us in a position in which we now have the optionality to make those decisions without any further ado. And the other one, obviously, is to be able to have a good treasury in order for us to be able to accelerate our exploration programs. I mean, we're just getting started in Cachimbo. We're going to be working in the gap. And if things are successful, as we believe they will, so we are going to be having the resources to be able to support the exploration team with whatever they need in order for us to be able to add value to the company.
Well, Luis and Leandro, thanks so much for the update and for your time. I apologize to audience members that didn't get their questions asked. If you want to email them to me, I'll do my best to have them answered for you. Also, thanks for supporting our charity cause. I think that you selected a charity in your community to donate to, which is great. So appreciate the support. Appreciate your time today. Congrats on the financing this morning. And thanks to all the audience members for participating.
Thank you, Deborah. Thanks for the opportunity, and thanks to all of our long lasting and very strong supporters of our project. I mean, your support and your trust is being really important for us. I mean, to be able to reach to the point where we are, and it's going to be key to be able to continue to push us forward. I mean, into having this mine in operation.
Awesome. Well, happy holidays, everyone.
Thanks. Bye bye.